I hope everybody's safe, healthy, all those kinds of things. So my idea for these classes was to have somewhat of a theme that's based around helping you start a home practice, because it's easy to come to classes, and classes are great for learning, but I think the home practice is really where it becomes actually like a really enriching and fulfilling thing for people. So over these classes, over the next few weeks, I don't necessarily intend to like introduce anything that you haven't heard before. I don't intend to like blow your mind with some new way of doing triangle pose or some elaborate fancy prop setup or anything like that. It is all going to be, for the most part, stuff that you probably have heard before, and just trying to keep the momentum of your practice going and keep you going, keep you practicing. So yeah, these will be pretty basic instructions, if you will, and basic sequences. I put this up on the website. This is a Iyengar Yoga Institute of New York practice sequence. I know you can't really see it from where I'm at, but some of this looks familiar. And this is all up on my website and openly available on the web for everybody. So we will actually be following along with these sequences, and I'm basically going to be giving beginner level instructions over a lot of these poses and talking about these poses from the ground up, from the feet up to the head. Today we'll probably be mainly focusing on the lower body, on the legs. My plan is to post these on YouTube afterward. I might edit out a little bit of the beginning, just like as everybody comes into the meeting and I greet people. I'll probably cut that out in a video editing software and post it on YouTube for you to practice later on. Trying to think of other things. I mean, when you think about a home practice, for me, I have a spare room in our condo that Sarah and I turned into a home practice room. So your setting is going to be important. You might not have a whole spare room, but definitely like somewhere that you'll minimize disturbances. Like, you know, maybe it's your bedroom, maybe it's a home office, but probably not like the living room or something like that. If you can have like a hard floor, like a tile or a laminate or a hardwood, it's realistically going to be better than carpet, but you'll have to weigh whether or not that's more important to you than having maybe more privacy if you have to choose between those two. So yeah, you'll pick a place. Hopefully it's the same time you're able to practice. I put a little video and some information on how to use home props, home items as props. So I know some people have pretty much all the props that they would need already. If you want to buy more props, you don't even need to go through me or anything. Hugger Mugger has great props, but like sometimes we need a lot of blankets, and you can use bath towels for that, or sometimes you can use a couch cushion as a bolster, or yada yada yada. You can improvise those kinds of things. Yeah, let's see. Also, so again, the whole point of this is to support you in a home practice during this month or so where we won't be able to work together. So I am primarily going to be taking up the role of teaching postures, and Sarah is going to primarily be taking the role of teaching pranayama and recording. So if you're signing up for my classes for the month of April, the 12 classes that you're getting from me are all the asana classes, but Sarah also has a couple of yoga nidra and pranayama recordings that I'm going to post on the website, the manifested wellness / home practice. So Sarah's recordings will be up there too. Some people have really had an interest in pranayama and meditation and some of those subtler practices. So she has some wonderful recordings of all that material. So hopefully between her and I, you can have a pretty full, well-rounded practice during this month. And then in terms of payments, like I really want this to be a donation-based thing. I'm kind of valuing it around $75. You can donate whatever you like. If you are strapped right now for cash because of the pandemic economy, then don't worry about it. My priority is that you have a practice rather than, financial gain for me. So any of your support is helpful, but don't feel obligated to go above and beyond what is appropriate for you. And I think that is most of it. At least that's most of what I wanted to cover before we get going. So again, we're going through, if you have these printed, I recommend grabbing them. If you don't have them printed, just get it for next time. Today, we're going to be going through sequence 1 of the level 1 protocol. And you don't need to have it with you right now because I'll be, talking us through it, but it's great to have these to look along with. We'll start seated. So as we tend to in classes, we're not going to do the full invocation or anything like that, but just take a steady seat, sit cross-legged. And close the eyes. As you sit, your legs should relax. I'm sitting in Swastikasana right now with my shins, my legs crossed at the middle of the shins. If you're sitting in Swastikasana or Siddhasana, any number of different seated poses are available. But the main thing is that the lower body is stable, relaxed. The hips are at the same level as the knees, or even slightly higher than the knees. And you could sit on a block or a bolster to accomplish that, or even several bath towels. Blankets if you have them. And then in the upper body, just rest the hands comfortably on the thighs. Not so far forward that it's pulling you forward, but also not so far back that it's pushing you back, kind of a neutral middle of the thigh hand position. Lift the front chest up as you roll the top shoulders down the back. Our practice always begins with some form of a quiet moment or two. That could be seated, it could even be a restorative pose sometimes, but some way of showing the mind that there's going to be an interruption to the normal, ordinary stream of consciousness and a transition to some alternative, some physical practice, spiritual practice, whatever your approach might be. But this moment of being seated acts as that interruption from the normal waking consciousness to turning your attention inward, observing the body. And we'll just chant one sound of Om together, bring the hands into Namaskaras in front of the heart. And don't be afraid to chant at home. Take a deep breath in. Om. And bow the head to the heart. Release the hands, turn the palms up. And as you inhale, your next breath in, you can lift the head. As you exhale, you open the eyes. Okay, release the legs forward. Bring the legs straight out in front of you to Dandasana. Pretty much regardless of whatever seat you choose, if it's Hero's Pose, Virasana, Swastikasana, cross-leg, Siddhasana, accomplished pose, whatever pose you pick, it's always good to release the legs straight out after sitting there for several minutes. So take a moment to press the thighs down, lift the chest up, and then bring your knees underneath you. And you can remove props from your mat and come up to standing. Don't worry too much if you're in the live class about making sure that your camera or your microphone or any of your equipment is kind of correct. Don't worry too much about it. I mean, it'll be fine. I'll come by. My idea for these for the live people is to instruct the pose once and then come by and take a look and just see, come up to the camera, to my iPad and take a look at what you're doing. And if I can't see you, then it's not going to be the end of the world. So stand with your feet hips distance apart for Tadasana, Samasthiti, mountain pose. With your feet hips distance apart, you want to make sure that your second toes are parallel to each other. And then straighten the arms. Pull up on the kneecaps to firm the thighs. And take your weight back into your heels. Press down your big toe, press down your inner heel, roll your outer ankles towards your inner ankles, and extend up through the spine. Have your elbows straight with your fingers extending down. Lift the chest up as you roll the shoulders down the back. And when you roll the shoulders down the back, you're not only rolling the shoulders down away from the ears, but you're also extending from the back shoulder to the pinky finger. So create that line of extension from the top trapezius, top back deltoid to the pinky finger. Reach the whole joint of the shoulder down. Attempt to lower your collarbones, these top collarbones. Lower them about a half inch down. And with that dropping of the collarbones, dropping of the shoulders, lift the chest, lift the sternum bone up. So this is feet hips width apart, Tadasana, mountain pose. From here, we're going to go into several shoulder poses. The first one will be Urdhva Hastasana, upward arms. Start by extending your arms forward with the palms facing each other. Now, as soon as your arms come forward, the tendency is that the weight also comes forward, like toward the toe side of the foot. So tip your weight back, keep the knees straight. Keep the weight going back toward the heel side of the foot with the palms facing each other. Turn the biceps up. Extend your back bottom ribs up. So I'm going to point to it on me. These back bottom ribs here, extend those up. Keep extending them straight up as you bring the arms overhead. Keep the palms facing each other. And then take your hands about 20% out of the pose. So you lower your arms a little bit, straighten the elbows, turn the biceps up. So you roll the inner upper arm near the bicep. That turns up toward the ceiling. And then with that straightness of the elbow, turning of the upper arms, bring the arms further back or extend them up toward the ceiling. Back and up. Release the arms forward and down. We're going to do it again. I'm just going to talk you through it. So extend the arms forward. Palms to face each other. And take your arms up slowly. Don't go too quickly here. Just start to take the arms up slowly, kind of like even half the speed you're doing it now. Everybody go back down to having the arms parallel to the floor. And when you go up with the arms, straighten the elbows, turn the biceps up, and start to take the arms overhead just really slowly, slow enough to watch for when an elbow bends, when a shoulder hikes up toward the ear, when one of the upper arms stops its rotation. You're actively choosing to go slow to detect what's going on in your pose along the way. And then you're going to find a point where the arms don't go any further back behind your ears. There's a stopping point. At that moment, extend your back bottom ribs up, take your tailbone down. So you elongate your lumbar and you get your lumbar out of the pose. So take the tailbone down, back bottom ribs up, and then just from your shoulders, without changing your back bottom ribs, without changing your lumbar, just from your shoulders, take your arms about 2 or 3 degrees back, just a little bit more back. Elbows straight, upper arms turning. Tip weight back a little bit more into the heels. It's common here to lose that straight line of Tadasana. So tip the weight back a little bit, but extend the back ribs and the chest up. And then take the arms forward and down. Good. So that was Urdhva Hastasana, upward arms. Next pose we're going to take is Urdhva Badanguliasana, upward bound finger. So place the left index finger on top of the right. Turn the palms forward and extend the arms in front of you. Same thing here, take weight back. Take the tailbone down, lift the back bottom ribs up. And look at your hands, look at your knuckles. Press the index finger knuckle forward. Pull the pinky finger knuckle side of the hand back towards your face. Open wide and spread the palms. Straighten the elbows. And with the elbows straight and the index finger side of the hand, that index finger knuckle extending forward, kind of that being the apex of the whole pose, start to extend that index finger knuckle up toward the ceiling, elbows straight. So I'm going to come and take a look. Things were looking good in the last pose. So press your elbows towards your face. And then take the hands just a little bit out of the pose, re-straighten the elbow, and with the elbows straight, extend the arms. Once again, you find that spot where the shoulders sort of give you all that they think they're going to give you at first. Extend your lumbar, tailbone down, back bottom ribs up. And then just from the shoulders, press the shoulder blades forward, lift the chest, seeking a few more degrees of extension. Arms go up and back. So you're taking the tailbone forward and the shoulder blades forward. And then release the arms forward and down. Change the interlace. Place the right index finger on the top. Turn the palms forward. So this pose is, a lot of the intelligence of this pose comes from the shoulder blades and that middle part of your back. Take that forward here, so you're pressing your shoulder blades forward as if you're going to press the shoulder blades into the lungs. Take the tailbone forward, like you're taking the tailbone between the feet. Keep those 2 points pressing forward, elbows straight as you take the arms up. And make the fulcrum of the whole pose that territory of the upper back, right between the shoulder blades. Press that forward. Press that shoulder blade forward. Extend the arms, straight elbows. From the sides of the ribs, starting at a little bit above the waist, sides of the body up through the hands, extend the heels of the hands up. And release the arms forward and down. Okay. Stand in Tadasana. So for our next couple of poses, we're going to be doing several standing poses. Now, I've just grabbed kind of 2 random household items. I grabbed 2 DVDs. I'm going to use these to measure. These could essentially be anything really. Maybe not a fabric where it's like squishy, or you want something like a definite shape. Hopefully 2 of the same, like 2 books about the same size, 2 DVDs. If you don't have this now, it's okay. You can listen to it again later, and I hope you do. So I'm going to take one item. I'm going to place it on the left side of my mat. I'll be your mirror, of course, so I'll place it on the left side of my mat. And then I'm going to place my heel in front of the edge of that item, so in front of the little DVD case. And then I'm going to take several steps forward. So if you have something in your home, even like a pillow could work. Many things could work for this. It should be 2 things that are about the same size. So I'm going to step the heel, my right heel in front of that, left heel in front of my right foot, and I'm going to take several steps forward. I'm going to take 5 steps, heel to toe. And after my 5th step, I place my second item line with my toe. So I now have 5 of my feet distance between my 2 little DVD cases. So then I'm going to take my blocks, I'm going to place my blocks at the back end of my mat. And with the blocks at the back end of my mat, little items in front of my mat, I'll stand at the middle of the mat. So I have some spacers for my feet. Now with blocks, if you don't have blocks at home, you can use several books, several hardbound books, even like a big tomato can can work. So from here, bend the knees, bring the fingertips together once you're at the middle of the mat. And then you'll either walk or jump your feet out to the side. And what we're going for here is having the big toe, middle of the big toe, aligned with the edge of each item. So if I walked my feet in here, I would have, this is the edge here. I'm thinking of these as the inner edges. My feet are too narrow now. I have to walk my feet out so the big toes, middle of the big toe aligns with that inner edge of your spacer item. So this is your distance for triangle pose, 5 of your feet. This is maybe not the absolute distance that you'll use every time, but it's a pretty good place marker. Extend the arms, turn the feet to the right, turn your left toes in, turn the right foot out 90 degrees. With your arms extended, pull up on your patellas so that your knees are straight, your quadriceps active. And I'm going to keep your arms extended. I'm going to show this with my hands. You're going to externally rotate both of your thighs. Turn both of your thighs from the inner thighs toward the outer thighs. Keep turning and keep pulling up on the patellas. For Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose, extend over the right leg. Take the hand down to the brick. And for right now, you'll take your left hand to your waist. Keep turning the left thigh. You want the middle of the middle of the right patella to aim to the middle of the right foot. So see, can you turn both thighs out even more? Rotate from the inner thighs to the outer thighs, and then extend the left arm up. Press the left heel, inhale to come up, and turn the feet parallel. Look at your spacer items. Make sure that your middle of your big toes points to the inner edge of that item, and then turn the feet to the left. Right toes in, left foot out 90. Straighten the knees, pull up on the patellas, and turn both of your thighs inside out strongly. We usually teach this and emphasize this in the what we call the forward leg, your left leg here, but it also happens in the back leg. That back leg action prevents that back hip from turning forward as you go over your left leg. So turn the right thigh from the inside out, turn the left thigh from the inside out, and pull up on the patellas as you extend over the left leg. Take the hand down to the brick, right hand on the hip. It is easier, or maybe better said, more accessible to turn your chest up toward the ceiling with your right hand on your hip. So that's why we do this in the classes. With the right hand on the hip, press the right elbow and the right shoulder back to turn the chest up. And then once you've turned the chest, then you extend the arm. To come out, press the right heel, inhale to come up. Turn the feet, bring the fingertips together, jump the feet back together, or walk the feet back together. So we're going to repeat that pose. Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle. Bring the fingertips together, jump the feet out to the sides. Align your feet with your spacers and turn the feet to the left, or rather to the right. Turn your left toes in, right foot goes out 90, and extend the arms. Turn your thighs. Turn both of your thighs. And level your hips to the wall in front of you and parallel to the floor. So take your hands to your hips, and you can see here, the tendency is that the right hip will go down and back. The tendency for the left hip is to go up and forward. As you turn your thighs, level your hips. So you take the left hip down, the right hip up. So you're going from this to this. With the hips level, now turn that right thigh more. Then extend the arms. And what you find as you turn that right thigh, the big toe and the right inner big toe, the right inner heel, they become lighter on the ground. Press them down. Turn your right outer ankle to your inner ankle, press the big toe and the inner heel as you turn the thigh. And then you can feel the hip waking up. You feel the outer right hip, the outer right quadricep working strongly, and then extend over the right leg. Take your left hand to your hip. Now you don't need to take your left hand to your hip in this pose in general, because with the theme of home practice, when you're practicing this later on, the hand doesn't need to go to the hip. But going to the hip, like I said, it helps turn the chest. So roll your shoulders down your back, turn your chest, and then extend the left arm. Keep turning the thighs out, press the right big toe and inner heel down. And press back the rear heel, inhale to come up. Turn your feet. And then once they're parallel, check your spacers. And then turn the feet the other way. Turn the feet to the left. Extend the arms. Level the hips. Take the right hip down, left hip up. With the hips level, then turn the thighs. Press the left inner foot down, big toe, inner heel, press, turn the left thigh. Extend over the left leg, and then take the right hand to the hip. Now, you could use the lower brick setting. If you didn't use the lower brick setting, like the middle setting on the last leg, use the same setting as the last leg. But as you practice this pose several times, it's nice to start off at the high setting on the brick, and then go down to the middle setting, and then go down to the lowest setting. So you kind of progressively go deeper into the pose. Turn your chest up, use your right elbow and shoulder pressing back to help that, and then extend the right arm up. Press the rear heel, inhale, pull the arm to come up, turn the feet, and jump the feet back together. Stand in Tadasana. Okay, I'm going to talk you through it. Come and take a look. Okay, jump the feet wide, use your spacers. You can always step the feet too. It is fine to step the feet, but the tendency too, even if you jump, is that they don't quite make it perfectly to the spacers. So wiggle out or wiggle into the spacers, extend the arms, turn the feet to the right, left toes turn in a little bit, about 30 degrees in, right foot goes out 90 degrees, and then keep your arms extended, straighten your knees, pull up on the patellas and lift the chest. Good, yep, saw some chest lifting there, fantastic. So extend the arms, now press the big toe and the inner heel on the right foot down. Level your hips. Back foot, press that hip down and back. Front foot, pull that hip up. And along with that, turn the hips toward the back leg. Turn the hips to the left as you turn the right thigh out. Keep turning out the right thigh, extend over the right leg. Take the hand this time to a lower setting. If you don't have a brick, you can place your hand on the shin or the ankle. If you have a brick, you can take the hand to a lower setting on the brick. Left hand on the hip, roll the left shoulder and elbow back, turn the chest up, and then extend the left arm. Remain in the pose, turn the thighs out, pull up on the patellas. And then press the left heel, inhale, pull the arm to help come up. Take the hands to the hips, turn the feet parallel, turn the feet to the other side. Good, extend the arms. Lift the chest. Everybody's doing well. So with the arms extended, at least from what I can see, you're doing well. With these little snippets of your home. So extend the arms, turn both of your thighs from the inside out, press down into the rear heel. And as you turn this left thigh, you don't want the whole pelvis to follow the left side thigh. So turn the hips to the right. Take the right hip down. Lift up through the left side of the hip, left side hip. And then turn the left thigh out. And if you're really keeping your pelvis level, you'll find that actually turning that thigh out until it gets to the middle of the foot is quite an endeavor. So keep the hips level. Don't turn the hips to the left at all. Keep turning the hips to the right and turning the left thigh out. Turn both of the thighs out, extend the arms, extend over the left leg. Take the hand to the shin or the ankle, extend the right arm, or rather take the right arm to your hip, right hand to your hip. Turn both thighs, press the inner left heel, press that left big toe, turn the chest up, and then extend the left arm, or extend the right arm up. And then press the rear heel, inhale, pull the arm to come up, turn the feet, and jump the feet back together. Stand in Tadasana. So our next pose is going to be Utthita Parsva Konasana. Utthita extended or stretched, and Parsva is side, cone is angle, so extended side angle pose. Bring the fingertips together in front of the chest, bend the knees, jump the feet out to the sides, align your feet with your spacers. And then turn your feet to the left. So turn the right toes in, or turn the left toes in, right foot out. From here, you're going to take your hands to your hips, turn your hips to the left, turn the left thigh from the inside out. Now look at your right knee, start to bend the right knee and eclipse the pinky toe side of the foot. So turn the right thigh out, right foot goes, or right knee goes over that to hide, visually hiding the outside of the right foot. And then take your right arm with the elbow bent, lift the chest, extend over the leg to place the forearm near the elbow on the thigh. And keep your left hand on your hip, take the shoulder back. And for right now, the first time we do the pose, you'll extend the arms straight up toward the ceiling. Release the right buttock down, not back, just down. Straight down with the right buttock. Then turn the palm of the left hand toward that wall over there, over the head, and extend the arm overhead. Press the rear heel, inhale to come up. Turn the feet. Take the hands back to the hips. Turn the feet to the other side. And it's always good as we change sides, as we do the pose. The nice thing about having those spacers there, as long as you haven't moved them, is that you can always glance down to see, am I still at that wide distance with the feet? Sometimes we think that having less space or a shorter distance will make the pose easier. It actually tends to make the pose harder because there's less room in the pelvis to do the actions of the legs. So it's better to have the wide stance and maybe bend the knee less rather than have a more narrow stance and try to bend the knee more. So with your hands on your hips, turn the right thigh from the inside out, level the hips, and as you bend the left knee, hide the outside of the foot. So as the knee bends, you should actually be able to see your big toe. Not the pinky toe though, the knee should hide the pinky toe visually. Bend the knee even more. Lift the left arm up with the elbow bent, extend up through the left side as you take the forearm down near the knee. Roll the right shoulder back to take the hip and the shoulder back, and then extend the right arm up toward the ceiling. Turn the palm and extend the arm overhead. To go deeper into the pose, sit your left hip, left buttock straight down. Keep turning the right thigh rather, from the inside out as you sit the left buttock down. Press the rear heel, inhale, pull the arm to come up. Turn the feet and jump the feet back together. We're going to do the pose a second time. This will be our last time doing this pose. And you're going to use your bricks. Now, you do need to have something there. You could go down to nothing, like you could just take the hand to the floor. That's the classic pose. That's how you'll see the picture in Light on Yoga. It's nice to have some support there. So everything I have in this room is yoga props, but you could certainly use several hardbound books, something sturdy. Feet in Tadasana, and jump the feet out to the sides. Align your feet with the spacers, big toe to the inside of the spacer, and then turn the feet to the right. Left toes in, right foot out to the right. Now I'm going to just demo this really quickly. We're going to bend the knee and just go right over the leg to take the hand down to the spacer. So it kind of looks, if you can see the video, it looks like this. So go ahead and do that. As you bend the left knee, or as you bend the right knee, hide the pinky toe side of the foot, take the hand down to the outside to that support, extend the left arm straight up. Turn your chest up. And continue to sit the right buttock down as you turn the left thigh from the inside out. Turn that left thigh more, sit that right hip down, and turn the chest up. And to come out, press the rear heel, swing the arm up, straighten the leg, turn the feet to the opposite side. Extend the arms. And if you got to move your gear, you do that now or beforehand, and then inhale. As you exhale, bend the knee, extend over the leg, take the hand down, extend the right arm up. Turn the thigh from the inside out, both thighs for that matter, but especially the right one here. Sit the left hip straight down. Turn the chest up toward the ceiling. Release. I think release is a great verb here. Release the left buttock straight down as you turn the right thigh from the inside out. And then to come out, press the rear heel, inhale, swing the arm to come up, turn the feet, and jump or step the feet back together. Back to Samasthiti Tadasana. So our next pose is going to be Parsvottanasana, side intense stretch. Parsva side, Uttanasana or Uttanasana, intense extension or intense stretch. So we are going to use a chair for this. So I've got a yoga chair here. I could quite feasibly quite feasibly use essentially any chair for this. As long as the chair, gosh, even if it had an armrest, it would probably be fine. I guess a rolling office chair really wouldn't work. So I'll show this with one of my dining room chairs. I'm going to place the chair on the mat. I'm going to set my feet close to the chair, shins almost touching the chair so that when I look down, I cannot see my toes. Toes are hidden under the chair, but I don't want to be so close that my shins actually hit the chair. And then I extend forward with a flat back and hold the chair. I'm going to step back my my left foot first. So I'm not going to be able to mirror you on this, just stepping back with the left foot. And you're a little bit more narrow than your spacers. I'm not really worried about using the spacers right now, but if you think about what that spacing was between your feet, that being the spacers were 5 of your feet, this pose is really more of about 4 of your feet. So it's a little bit more narrow than the last few. Now this chair is not going to be right under your shoulders. So if you look at me in the video, it can be a little bit in front of that, but you don't want your hands way out here. You also don't want to have your hands like the chair super close so that it's hitting your chin. You kind of want to have your hands in about this. So hold the chair, straighten the knees, and now pull the outer right hip straight back. Turn the left outer hip forward. Lift your chest toward this backrest of the chair. And pull up on the right sitting bone. So this is Parsvottanasana with a concave back, using a chair to help that concavity. We're going to change legs. Step forward, step back. Step the right foot back this time. And I hope you can see the positioning of my right foot, the back foot. Because sometimes we practice this pose, and it's fine to do this with the feet parallel to each other and the right heel off the floor. Today we're going to do the classical pose, which is where the right foot turns in at least 45 degrees. So it's got this severe turned in angle. That helps you turn the hips. So your right heel is down, press down into your left instep, straighten the knees, pull back the right or pull back the left hip, press forward the right hip. And there's a limit to how much that needs to take place. Like some people, if I often come and correct you and say you've overdone it, you've taken your right hip too far forward, then you probably are doing that here. So you want to get the hips level. Then once the hips are level, pull up on the left sitting bone. So extend from the left heel through the whole back of the left leg, up through the left sitting bone, and then you'll feel the left hamstring more. If you're really open in the hamstrings, that might not be the result for you, but still, keep pulling up the patellas. Lift the chest, extend the chest toward the backrest of the chair. And step forward. Step back. What we're actually going to do this time, now that we've stepped back, set your feet, and then you're going to take your hands to your hips and actually stand all the way up. So you have the feet positioned for the pose, but you're not using the chair for the moment. You have your hands on your hips. And just double check, visually double check that your left foot is turned in 45 degrees, your right foot is straight forward, parallel with that long edge of your mat. Turn your hips square to the wall that you're facing, square to the chair. Lift the chest up, press the shoulders forward. Now, As you extend forward, keep the chest lifting. There's a shape to your back. You want to understand and preserve this shape. Keep your shoulders back away from your ears and keep your shoulder blades retracted so that when you extend your arms forward to hold the chair, I like to use the phrase reluctantly take the chair so that you're not rounding forward and throwing your shoulder blades forward to get your hands onto that chair. You keep the shoulder blades retracting and depressing. So you'll feel that that requires some work in your upper back to preserve that shoulder blade action. Holding the chair, shoulder blades retracting, extend the chest forward, press back the rear heel. Good, and step forward. Step back. Right foot back, left foot forward. Once you set your feet, square your hips, take your hands to your hips, and stand up. You just double check that right toes are turned in 45 degrees. Turn your hips toward the chair. Lift the chest. Press the shoulder blades forward, lift from the abdomen to the chest. And then extend forward. Keep the shoulder blades where they are. So you will feel a little bit rigid in the shoulder blade territory on your back to keep the back concave as you take the hands down to the chair. Keep squaring off your hips. The right hip doesn't go too far forward, but the left hip should not poke out to the side either. So pull the outer left hip back. Extend the chest forward. And take the hands to the hips. Point the elbows up. Inhale to come up. Turn your feet. Walk your feet back together. So now we're going to do it without the chair, setting this up a little bit more kind of like the classical way we would set this up. We're not going to take the hands down to anything. We're actually going to be keeping the hands on the hips. So step your feet wide. If you still have your spacers, we previously stepped our feet wide enough so that the big toes, the middle of the big toe went to the edge of the spacer. Now the distance is that your pinky toe is aligned with that inner edge of the spacer, right? So it's about a foot width more narrow in either direction. With your hands on your hips, you turn your feet to the right. So turn the left toes in, turn the right foot out 90 degrees. And it should feel here like you're standing on a little bit of a tightrope. So turn your hips, turn your chest. Straighten both your knees, pull up on the patellas, lift the chest. As you extend forward over the right leg, press back the left heel. Press that left heel. Keep pressing that left heel as you extend forward. Keep the chest lifting, keep the hands on the hips. Lead the pose with your chest. Extend your chest over your right foot. And then pull that outer right hip in. That outer right hip naturally wants to poke out. Pull the outer right hip in. Extend over the right leg. Press the right heel. Inhale to come up. Turn the feet. And turn the feet to the other side. Once you've turned the feet, turn the chest, turn the hips. Lift the chest. Press back that right heel. And extend over the left leg. Keep pressing back that right heel. Pull your outer left hip in and back. So that the left hip doesn't follow the forward momentum of the torso. Keep that left hip pulling back, elbows back, chest forward. Go a little bit deeper into the pose. Lead with the chest. You're not going down. Don't think about going down toward the leg. Think about going over the foot. Feel the chest going over the foot, like you're trying to take your chest off of your yoga mat. And press the rear heel, inhale to come up. Turn the feet. Now we're going to walk the feet back out to the spacers once again. So big toe aligns with the spacers, if they're still there. Take your hands to your hips. So that concludes the previous pose, Parsvottanasana. We're moving on to Prasarpadottanasana, wide-legged forward extension. Hands on your hips. Now you have your big toes aligned with your spacers, and now you're just going to take your feet a tiny bit, like maybe a quarter inch or so in each direction away from each other, so that it was the middle of your big toe aligning with that inner edge of your spacer. Now it's the inner edge of the foot. So it's a slightly, just like an inch or so wider distance overall. Lift the chest as you extend forward. You're taking your hands to the floor. Lift the chest, straighten the elbows. Your hands should be right under your shoulders here. Press down into the outer edges of the feet, extend the chest forward. So this is the concave back version of the pose. And usually all of our forward folds or our forward extensions have these, we could call them like two stages. Generally the first stage is this concave back, where your back is flat, or even better still, like an upper back bend. So make an upper back bend and notice that your lower back immediately helped. It was so willing. So take the hips back, extend the back bottom ribs forward. So this territory, back bottom ribs, extend that forward, make the upper back do the bend. If ever you're dealing with back pain or back stiffness, generally you will do concave back everything and never go into the full pose, at least at the moments where you're having the chronic pain. So any back or any forward bend, we say do the concave back version first and then do the full version. And if you're having back pain, you just do the concave back. So either you're staying here or we're going to go into the full version of the pose. To go into the classical pose, you take your hands back so that your heels of your hands line up with your arches of your feet. Your middle fingers point straight forward. And then keep the chest lifting. Bend the outer elbows back so that the elbow joint goes straight back as you release the head forward and place the forehead or the head on the ground. If the head doesn't make it to the ground, you would place something underneath it, such as a brick. But generally speaking, the head should go to the ground. If the feet are wide enough, and if the will is there, the head will go to the ground. Extend from the outer edges of your hips, the outer haunches of the hips, through the outer legs toward the outer heels. So you press the outer heels down, and you press your toes down. Keep bringing your elbow joints toward each other. They don't need to go closer than shoulder distance apart, but they can't go wider either. Elbows shoulder distance apart, take the outer elbows straight back, press the heels of the hands down. And take the hands to the hips. Lift the chest, inhale to come back up to standing. And then start to walk the feet back together. So our last few poses here, our next pose, I should say, is Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So you're going to come on to, we're going to set this up from a pose called Chaturangdasana, four-footed pose. It's different than Chaturanga Dandasana, that's four-limb staff pose. So a lot of people just call it table or box or something like that. So you come onto your hands and knees. Align your index finger parallel to each other. Spread the rest of the fingers out. And you walk your feet back so that your knees are a few inches back from being right under your hips. Your feet should be just a little bit wider than hip distance apart, not much though. The best way to describe it is that the feet and the heel of the hand are the same distance apart from each other. So now, straighten the elbows, turn the biceps forward, take the shoulders away from the ears, lift the knees away from the ground, and extend the legs as you take the hips up and back. Your second toes should be parallel to each other. Keep the arms straight, the elbow joint straight, keep the knee joint straight. Even if your heels are several inches away from the ground, no problem. Just get the knees to straighten. Bend the knees, come down. Now, one of the ways to kind of cheat, if you will, if that's even the right word for it, to get the knees to straighten, is to take the feet even wider. That also helps broaden the back of the legs. It gives something to the pose. So if you take your feet a little bit wider, basically putting the pinky toe to the outer edge of your mat. And then keep the elbows straight, turn the biceps forward, extend the legs. So there's a broadness to the lower body with the legs this wide. Turn the thighs from the outside, turn them in. Press the inner knees back, broaden the backs of the thighs out. Spread the backs of the thighs out. Straighten the elbows, turn the biceps up toward the ceiling as you press the shoulder blades toward the lungs. And now stay in the pose, but just walk your feet back to the previous poses, the previous version's feet position. Broaden the backs of the thighs out. Extend the hips up. Same leg action, although your legs are a little bit more narrow now. Pinky toes, or second toes parallel to each other. Still work that same broadness of the legs. And bend the knees and come down. So now you're going to take your mat to the wall. We're going to do that pose one more time, but we're going to do it with the short side of the mat close to the wall. If you have a quarter round baseboard or trim or anything like that on your wall, that's not going to be a problem. So you're going to do the mat or do the pose with your thumbs up against the wall, index finger out toward the corner of your mat so that your thumb and your index finger make contact with the wall. We set the pose up like this to get more extension through the arms. That is the purpose of using the wall. It helps you extend through the arms better. So we're actually going to start with that same wider foot position. So walk the feet out to the edges of the mat, pinky toe to the edges of the mat. And press the arms, turn the biceps up, straighten the elbow, and extend the legs. Press the wall away from you with straight elbows. Press the baseboard or the wall or whatever's there into the next room. Broaden the backs of your thighs out. Turn the top thighs, the quadriceps, in and press them back. Straighten the knees. Everybody straighten the knees. Now take the feet back to that first position. They're kind of a little bit narrower, about hands distance apart. And even though the legs are closer together, can you get the same quality of broadness in the legs? Turn the thighs from the outside, turn the thighs in, spread the backs of the thighs out. Now for the final push or the final effort in the pose, press the hands, take the thighs back. And then bend the knees and come down. So for our resting pose at the end of class, it'll be kind of tricky for me to actually set it up and demo you without kind of tearing down my whole camera setup, but it is this pose, Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, with legs, it's basically legs up the wall. We do a different pose sometimes called Viparita Karani. So see, I think I have one of these somewhere in this packet. Maybe not. But there's a version of this pose or a different pose that's sometimes done with a bolster under the buttock. We're not doing that one today. We're just going to take the legs up the wall. So the easiest setup is to go close to the wall on your right or your left side, to sit in the fetal position close to the wall, and then press your hands to the wall, press one arm down to the floor, and roll yourself with your legs up the wall. We are going to do one shoulder pose, one shoulder action in this setup before resting here. So to start off, you want to make sure that your legs are set up right. You want to feel that your buttocks is touching the wall or the baseboard. The backs of your thighs are at the wall. So you might need to either wiggle in closer or come out and go back in again if your butt is like several inches away. Now, flex the outer edges of your feet towards your outer hips. Press the big toe side of the foot up. We're going to do Urdhva Hastasana in this pose. So upward arms in this pose. So take your arms up toward the ceiling, have the palms facing each other. Roll the shoulders down the back. Extend the arms overhead. You need not concern yourself with getting your hands to the floor. Press the backs of your legs into the wall. Keep the feet active and the legs active as you extend the arms overhead. Extend the thumb away from the palm so that you extend the thumb down toward the floor. Your palms are facing each other. And see if you can hit the thumb onto the floor. Can you get the thumb onto the floor with a straight elbow? And then if you can get the thumb onto the floor with a straight elbow, you can take the thumb closer to the hand and extend the fingers toward the floor, or rather extend the thumb side nail toward the floor and the fingers extend overhead. So your palms are still facing each other. If the elbows are bent, it's fine to have the hands away from the floor, even if the thumb never gets there. Let's straighten the elbow from your hips and your back legs, pressing into the wall. Extend up through the ribs and up through the fingers. And then to release the pose and rest, you'll rest your arms alongside your body. You take your arms out of the pose, and then you let the feet go loose. So there's no activity in the body here, no action, just resting. Close the eyes if you haven't yet. Let the legs rest. You don't have to do anything with your breath. Just breathe steadily, normally. And take the next minute or two to completely let go. So we always believe that we've let go. We think, or we feel like letting go is a black and white thing, but see if you can let go a little bit more. And to release, slowly slide the legs down the wall. And then slowly turn to either the right or the left side. Extend the right or the left arm, whatever's closer, obviously, to the head to support the head. And then you can come up to any seated position. You keep the eyes closed and bring the hands together in namaskar in front of the body. And namaste. May peace be with us all. Om Shanti. Let's see. Well, let's see. So thank you all for coming. Yeah, let me see. I'm going to unmute the participants. Unmute everyone. Okay. So thank you all for coming. The documents, everything is going to be on that website page. So manifestowellness.com/home-practice. It's all in the email, and Zoom records a copy of this class onto their cloud website. So I'm going to download that and do maybe a little editing on it or something like that. And I'm going to post it either on YouTube or on my website, but it'll be a link to it in one way or another will be up on that page. So if you have any questions about any of it, I'll be available, and yeah, hope to see you on Friday morning, same time. If you don't make Friday morning, you'll have the recording of that later on.